Welcome to Oran Park Raceway for this Grand Prix on the 20th July 2026. Conditions are dry, with air temperature at 19 degrees and the track at 20. On the front row it's Marc on pole with Williams alongside. Row 2 is Cav and Arsenijevic, then Turkia and Garrett on row 3. Behind them, Pinheiro lines up with Hunt, Teising starts 9th with Russell 10th, Gregory is 11th alongside Istad, Mollet is 13th with Joyner 14th, and Van Ingen starts from 15th. Before the lights go out, Aria, what are you watching for in this one?
I'm watching that front row first because Jarno Marcu starts on pole as the championship leader, but Jake Williams alongside him has been the sharper closer lately and has been winning these Oran Park races for fun. Then it's Denise Cav and Vuk Arsenijevic just behind, so there's no breathing room at all into the opening phase. Keep an eye on Ossi Turkia too, and on Hans Mollat buried down in 13th with real pace if he can stay out of trouble. Over to you, Marc.
Thanks, Aria. We're just waiting for the red lights now. The start is moments away. We're underway, and Marcu brings the field off the line. Mollet makes early progress, getting by Gregory for 12th. Mollet keeps charging, past Istad for 11th. This is tight for 10th, with Teising, Mollat and Istad 3 abreast. As the opening lap unfolds, it is Marcu from Williams, then Cav, Arsenijevic, Turkia, Garrett, Pinheiro and Hunt. Now the lead changes again, with Williams going through to first. Hunt also finds a way past Pinheiro for 7th. Mollet is back by Istad for 11th, and they're stacked up once more. Teising, Mollat and Istad battling 3 wide around 10th. Mollet picks off Teising as well, and that puts him into 10th. Teising follows through on Russell too, taking 10th. Just behind the lead, Marcu is still holding Cav at bay for 2nd, by about 2 tenths. The field remains tightly bunched, a 15-car train centred on the lead, with Williams at the head of it. As he takes Pinheiro for 8th. And Williams adds the fastest lap as well, a 1:09.266. Teising gets Pinheiro this time for 9th. That was a proper door-to-door contest between Pinheiro and Teising for 9th. Gregory and Joyner are at it again, side by side for 13th. Gregory completes that move and claims 13th from Joyner. But then Van Ingen goes past Gregory for 14th. Gregory runs wide, loses momentum, and drops away from Van Ingen after giving up about 5.2 seconds. Up front, Williams leads Marcu by roughly 4 tenths. And Marcu still has Cav right there behind him in the battle for 2nd, separated by about 2 tenths. Williams lowers the benchmark again with a 1:09.134. Teasing and Pinheiro are wheel-to-wheel in the fight for ninth. Teasing completes the move on Pinheiro and takes ninth place. Just ahead, Garrett is still holding Hunt behind in the battle for sixth, separated by only about 3/10. And now trouble there. Teasing moves across Pinheiro, they make contact and both run off together, losing ground. That brings a tight 4-car queue into view around 8th, with Russell at the front of it. Up ahead, Arsenijevic is only just keeping Turkey at bay for 3rd, by roughly 2/10. Meanwhile, Williams lays down the fastest lap of the race, a 19.035. Big moment for Arsenijevic. He runs wide through turn 1, loses control and tumbles from 3rd to 11th as Turkey, Garrett and Hunt all go through. That has tightened the fight for 3rd into a 3-car group, with Turkey leading Garrett and Hunt. Arsenijevic starts recovering immediately, passing Van Ingen for 10th. And that midfield train is now a 5-car pack around 7th, Russell still heading it. No let-up in that scrap either. The 5-car battle around 7th remains tightly bunched. Garrett still has Hunt filling the mirrors in the fight for 4th, the gap around 3/10. Marcu responds with the new fastest lap, a 108.983. Russell and Joyner are side by side now in that battle for 7th. Joyner comes out ahead and takes 7th from Russell. And just in front, Turkey is only about 2/10 clear of Garrett for 3rd. Joyner now heads that 5-car train around 7th, but it is still tightly packed behind him. Top 8 update. P1 Williams, P2 Marcu, P3 Turkey, P4 Garrett, P5 Hunt, P6 Mollett, P7 Joyner, P8 Russell. Aria, what stands out to you at this stage?
What stands out is Williams has seized control early, taking the lead on lap 2, and that matters because he's been the form man lately, while Marcu came in as the championship leader. Marcu's still close enough to threaten, but a couple of early off-tracks have shaped that gap. Behind them, Turkey, Garrett and Hunt have settled in, while Mollett's early climb from 13th is the standout charge.
The contest for 3rd remains a 3-car cluster, with Turkey still the car in front. At the front, Williams continues to lead Marcu by roughly 3/10. Turkey is still under pressure from Garrett for 3rd, with only a few tenths between them. Further back, Joyner continues to anchor that busy 5-car fight around 7th. Garrett and Hunt are even closer now in the battle for 4th, separated by about 2/10. And around 8th, Russell heads another tightly packed 4-car group. Just ahead, Turkey is still holding Garrett off in the fight for 3rd, separated by only a few tenths. And Marcu lays down the fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:08.890. That pace brings Marcu right onto Williams at the front, with the leader only a few tenths clear. Back in that midfield scrap, Russell and Istad are wheel-to-wheel for 8th. It is now a 5-car queue around P8, with Istad heading that group. Arsenijevic makes the move stick on Istad for 9th. And Istad loses another one straight away, Van Ingen going through for 10th. That pack is still tightly bunched around 8th, Russell now the car leading it. Garrett has Hunt right with him as they contest 4th, the margin down to just a couple of tenths. Further back, Istad and Cav are side by side over 11th. Meanwhile, the pressure remains on Turkey in 3rd, with Garrett tucked in close behind. Cav completes that pass and takes 11th away from Istad. Russell and Arsenijevic are now alongside one another in the fight for 8th. At the front, Williams still has Marcu covered, but only by around 4 tenths. Garrett continues to fend Hunt off for 4th, with barely a quarter of a second between them. Mollett picks off Hunt and moves up into 5th. And Malat is not done yet, drawing alongside Garrett for 4th. Garrett just hangs on for the moment, with Malat almost on his rear wing in the battle for 4th. That still leaves Garrett chasing Turkey for 3rd, the pair separated by only a few tenths. Behind them, Malat has Hunt close enough to keep the fight for 5th alive. Up front, Williams continues to lead Marcu, and that gap is back down to just over 2 tenths. Garrett now has to defend 5th from Hunt, with Hunt right there behind him. And after that pass, Malat has a small cushion over Garrett in the fight for 4th. Turkey is right alongside Malat in the fight for third. And now Turkey has Garrett filling the mirrors for fourth. This is a tightly bunched four-car train around third, with Malat at the head of it. Up front, Williams still has Marc tucked in close behind in the battle for the lead. Garrett is still just keeping Hunt at bay over fifth place. The top eight are Williams, Marc, Malat, Turkey, Garrett, Hunt, Joyner and Arsenijevic. Back to that scrap for fourth, and Turkey remains just ahead of Garrett. Mollet leads Turkey in the contest for third. At the front, Williams continues to hold Marc behind. Garrett still has Hunt right there, fighting over fifth. Here goes Garrett, side by side with Turkey for fourth. That whole group around third is still nose to tail, 4 cars in the mix. Further back, Cav gets by Van Ingen for 10th. Turkey and Garrett are still wheel to wheel in that fight for fourth. Contact! Hunt lunges up the inside, and it all goes wrong. Hunt has gone off, and that sends him to the pits as he tumbles down the order to 12th. A miserable sequence for Hunt, still off the road and ending up down in 12th after the tow. Now the focus shifts to a 3-car queue around 6th, led by Turkey. Turkey is under pressure from Arsenijevic over 6th place. Meanwhile, the lead remains with Williams, with Marc still close behind. Mollet is the driver, Garrett is chasing now for third. Turkey is still holding 6th, with Arsenijevic tucked right in behind. Up front, Williams continues to lead, with Marc close enough to keep the pressure on. That fight for sixth has become a five-car train, headed by Turkey. It stays tightly stacked around sixth place, with Turkey still at the front of this group. White flag is out for Williams now. 1 lap remaining for the race leader. And Cav puts in the fastest lap of the race, a 1:08.615. Back to that midfield scrap. Turkey is still ahead of Arsenijevic in the battle for sixth. Meanwhile, the lead remains under pressure. Williams just ahead of Marc. Williams takes the win, converting second on the grid into victory. Marc comes home in second place. Mollett completes the podium in third, a gain of 10 places from the grid. Garrett follows across the line in fourth. Joyner finishes fifth, up 9 places from the start. Then 6th through 10th arrive together, and Cav keeps hold of fastest lap. Teising is classified 12th. Gregory rounds out that group in 13th. The final result confirms it. Williams is the race winner. Aria, sum that one up for us.
Jake Williams turned a front-row start into another statement win, taking the lead from Jarno Marcu on lap 2 and then absorbing pressure all the way to the flag, with Marcu just 2/10ths back despite 5 incidents. That's a proper heavyweight fight between the top 2 in the championship, and Williams has now beaten him in back-to-back Oran Park top split races. The drive of the race was Hans Mollett, charging from 13th to 3rd, while early starters like Deniz Cav and Vuk Arsenijevic just couldn't hold track position in a clean but unforgiving race.